lightning trip to Italy, speaks to the 48th Highlanders of Toronto. The inspection continues as the Defense Minister meets seasoned, hard-hitting Canadian gunners. With tireless energy, Colonel Ralston hurries on to another appointment. A French-Canadian unit is next to receive a visit. His words receive enthusiastic cheering. Once more on the move, he is greeted by Major Dick Malone. The Army Service Corps forms a guard of honor. At a Canadian General Hospital, Colonel Ralston's attention turns to those men who have felt the weight of enemy steel in battle. With the matron, he inspects the hospital, passing from one patient to another in the malaria ward. Midst the ruins of an ancient Greek amphitheatre, Colonel Ralston again meets men of the Dominion. Colonel Ralston, Lieutenant General Stuart, now acting commander of the 1st Canadian Army, and party, enter the amphitheatre. To these fighting men, he brings words of encouragement and praise from the people at home. A march past of another regiment as Colonel Ralston takes the salute. The quayside next attracts his interest, moving among the men, anxious to see everything possible. No Flanders fields of poppies here, no clash of arms, no bugles clear and strident call to wake you from your deep repose. Sleep on, your job is done. Before leaving the battlefront, Colonel Ralston meets General Montgomery, now C&C of British Invasion Forces. They discuss Canada's part in the campaign in Italy as they go to see the General's famous canary collection. Back in London, Colonel Ralston is greeted by Major General Montague as he attends a C.M.H.Q church parade at St. Martin's in the Field. All ranks and branches are represented as they file into the church for divine service. Following the service, Colonel Ralston renews acquaintances with members of the Canadian Army. At an airport, Colonel Ralston prepares to leave for home. Air screws spring to life. The Honorable Vincent Massey and party salute Canada's Defense Minister. Another Christmas. Canadian Military Headquarters takes time out to entertain British kiddies at Poplar Hospital. Memories of the big top and sawdust days come back as Canadian soldiers clown for the children. Old St. Nicholas, eagerly watched by children and soldiers alike, moves about with gifts and toys. For his good work, Santa is soundly rewarded. Even the young ones like Canadians. The first Canadian-built Lancaster has been put into service by the RCAF. Its target for tonight is Berlin. As the briefing goes on, 2,000-pounders are taken aboard. A truck collects the crews after they've donned their Mae Wests and parachutes and drives them to where the great machines are waiting. Canadian-built Q for Queenie and her consorts roll down the runways and take up their position. The takeoff light is flashed at the bomber in the Q, and away into the night roars Queenie. Berlin is a favorite target among bomber crews, because in striking at Berlin, they are striking at the heart of the enemy. When the raid is over, none of our aircraft is missing. The crew of Queenie make their way to the interrogation room to give the details of their flight.
Well, I see you bombed 6 minutes after 0, so I suppose things were starting by the time you got there?
Well, yes, things had taken a good hold by the time we got there. You could really see things begin to happen.
What about the bombing? Is it concentrated?
Yes, the bombing looked very concentrated. It had the effect of a very concentrated raid, I think.
Any good fires going?
Yes, fires were going by the time we bombed.
Well, how did it find effect this time?
The effect this time was just as bad, perhaps a little more severe than the last few times I've been there.
Were you on time when you got your bombs?
Yes, we were right on time, Glenn.
You see where they went?
No, I couldn't see where they went. Bombed on the fires down below.
That's good enough. Well, Andy, did you see any fighters on the way home?
Yes, just outside Hanover, we had a sighting with an ME-110.
Well, just a minute. Can you give me the time and price of that?
Well, we're at about 19,000 feet.
Well, this certainly looks as though it was a good raid.
It does that, yes, it does.
And I don't think you'll have to go to Berlin many times more.
The Sangro crossed and positions consolidated, a conference of brigadiers and high-ranking officers was held before the attack on San Leonardo. It was here that the Canadians went into the lead and fought their bloodiest action since the start of the war. While tanks moved up the hill into position, artillery rained shells on the German-held San Leonardo. As enemy positions were captured, white flags were found, left behind in the haste of their flight. German dead littered the hillside as the Canadians moved on with the words of General Montgomery ringing in their ears, "Now we are going to crack the Germans." Prisoners were taken by the hundred. Gone was the arrogant Hun of earlier engagements. Now they were sullen, disillusioned, perhaps even glad to be out of the ferocity of the fight. During the Battle of San Leonardo, the Canadians had a visit from some high-ranking Russian officers who had come to the battlefront as observers. The Russians had nothing but praise for the 8th and realized full well the bitter opposition they were facing. Our troops were gradually, doggedly, and bravely fighting toward Ortona and the road to Rome, and the best wishes of the Russian allies went with them.